prayers. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya
Now
Manobhishtam
this
Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. So today we'll be completing the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are discussing the wonderful pastimes of the Prachetas, how Prachetas, when they were instructed by Lord Shiva, so they performed tapasya and they got darshan of the Lord. And in between we saw how Narad Muni instructed the father of Prachetas, that is King Prachinabarhi, by telling an allegorical story of Puranjan and the city where Puranjan lives and the uh, queen which he gets married to, that is the intelligence. So all these things we discussed, and yesterday we discussed how Narad Muni now directly told in the 29th chapter what are the different things which he had talked about. So now today we'll be discussing the 30th chapter, which is entitled as the activities of Prachetas. So in this chapter it will be described how Prachetas, they got darshan of the Lord, and by praising the Lord they got the boon from the Supreme Lord, and they came out of the water, and then they saw that whole land was full of trees, and they started burning all the trees, and then they married the daughter of the trees, Marisha, and then they lived there in the kingdom happily. So in the 24th chapter, the Maitreya Muni had started the discussion of the uh, Prachetas, how they heard the Rudra Gita from Lord Shiva, and then after that Vidura went in another conversation of Narad Muni instructing King Prachinabarhi. So now, after the whole story of Puranjana was over, Prachinabarhi's story was over. So Vidura again asks Maitreya, what did Prachetas they achieve by satisfying the Supreme Lord? And because they were reciting this Rudra Gita, so what was the perfection which was achieved by these Prachetas? Because they were doing such intense tapasya, and out of many thousands of people, very few perform this, very few can attain the perfection. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Out of thousands of men, few start performing devotional service, and out of those who start performing devotional service, only few can attain the perfection. So therefore Vidura is asking, what perfection did the Prachetas achieve? And second, he asks that what did they actually, they were certainly, because they were such great devotees of the Lord, they were certainly transferred to the spiritual world. What did they obtain? But he's asking, but what did they obtain in this material world? Of course they attained the spiritual world, but in the material world, what did they obtain? So therefore sometimes Prabhupada writes that sometimes devotees, they desire to enjoy the things of this world, material happiness also, and Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills those desires of the living entities also. The devotees, if they want some material benedictions, so Krishna fulfills those material benedictions also. So therefore, prachetas, they did tapasya to get a material benediction because they were instructed by their father. But Krishna is so very merciful. He gives whatever material desires, he fulfills the material desires of the devotees also, and he also gives a chance to elevate a devotee to a highest perfection of life. That is a wonderful uh, uh, opportunity, wonderful uh, benediction which Supreme Lord gives to his devotees. Apart from fulfilling the material desires, he gives them a chance to transcend those material desires and then attain supreme perfection. That is a very beautiful and that is a very, very wonderful, way Krishna deals with his devotees. Satyam dishatyarthitam arthito nrinam naivartado yat punararthitam yataha swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichyatam ichchapidhanam nijapad pallavam. So it is described that Satyam, it is true. Dishati arthitam arthito nrinam. If somebody performs devotional service for material benedictions, Krishna fulfills those material desires, but naivartha doyat punararthitam yatha. He will not fulfill the desire in a way that the devotee will ask for the same thing again. Why? How this will happen? Swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichyatam. Although the devotee is desiring for material sense gratification, but Krishna gives himself to his devotee. He gives his lotus feet, he gives his devotional service to that devotee. Ichchapidhanam nijapada pallavam. Ichchapidhanam, the Lord's lotus feet, they are the reservoir of all the wonderful things, all the benedictions. Lord's lotus feet fulfills all the desires. So therefore, after getting this Lord's lotus feet in his heart, the devotee does not ask for anything else. Ichchapidhanam nijapad pallavam. Although the devotee says, no, I don't want your lotus feet, I want material desires. But Krishna says, no, ये इसके साथ free में आता है, 1 + 1 free है. So you have to take this along with your fulfillment of material desires. You will have to take my devotional service. That's the wonderful thing about Krishna. So even if somebody thinks, okay, I have so many desires, no problem, go to Krishna. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kam udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. If you have no desires, you have all the desires, you desire liberation, go to Krishna. Krishna can fulfill all the desires, at the same time purify you of all the desires. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, we heard the story in great detail, how Dhruva Maharaj got purified. When he got darshan of the Lord, he said, I do not want anything, O my Lord. I was doing tapasya, I was desiring broken pieces of glass, and what I have got is diamond. So therefore, prachetas, they underwent severe austerities in the ocean, and they satisfied Lord Vishnu by chanting this Rudra Gita. So in the 3rd verse of this chapter, Lord Vishnu is called Puranjanam also. So we heard the story of Puranjana, and again Lord Vishnu is called as Puranjana. How is it that Lord Vishnu is called as Puranjana? Prabhupada clarifies, both Lord Vishnu, both the Lord and the living entities, they are called Puranjana. Living entity is called Puranjana because he is forced to live in this material world under the influence of the 3 modes. Supreme Lord is also called Puranjana because he creates this material world, Puranjana. And he enters within the heart of the living entities. He enters within every atom, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. But he is not forced by anybody. That is his own free will. So therefore, Vishnu is also called Puranjana. So these prachetas, they did tapasya for 10,000 years. And then after that, they got darshan of Supreme Lord Vishnu. And when they got darshan of the darshan of the Lord mitigated all the miseries of these prachetas. To do tapasya is not so easy. To stand in water for 10 in water means submerged in water for 10,000 years. So Prabhupada writes that performing 10,000 years of severe austerities is not a happy endeavor. Yet the devotees, they take these serious, severe tapasyas just to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Previous ages, all these thousands of years of tapasya was needed. But now, Prabhupada writes that in this age of Kali Yuga, just by chanting the holy names of the Lord, Sankirtana Yajna, everything is possible. So therefore, we don't have to do all the intense tapasya. One time Prabhupada was in Vrindavan and there was one devotee, on the morning walk with him, he was not wearing any slippers. So Prabhupada asked him, so you are not wearing any slippers? So this devotee said, Prabhupada, this is Vrindavan. Vrindavan, you should not walk with slippers. I want to do parikrama without slippers. Prabhupada said, there is already enough tapasya in life. Don't add new one. If you want to do tapasya, chant more, read more, hear more. That is the tapasya we have to take. Of course, all these Nirjal Vrata and all the fasting days, they help us to become purified in our body, in our consciousness. But the purpose remains the same. If somebody is not remembering Krishna, then the purpose is defeated. So the purpose of austerity is to please the Lord, to remember Krishna more. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami also describes at one place, Ei lila amrit bine khaye adi anna pane tabe bhaktera durbala jivan yar ek bindu pane utkullit tanu mane hase gaye koroi nartane. So Kaviraj Goswami writes that Yei lila amrit bine, if somebody is not tasting this nectar of Hari Katha, khaye yadi anna pane, and he is tasting prasad regularly, 3 बार तो प्रसाद ले रहा है, but भागवतम नहीं पढ़ रहा है, is not hearing about the pastimes of the Lord, तबे भक्तेर दुर्बल जीवन, the devotee will become weak spiritually. यार एक बिंदु पाने उत्फुल्लित तनु मने हासे गाए करोए नर्तने. If he tastes this drop, one drop of this nectar, he'll become enlivened. Hase gaye koroe nartane. He'll start dancing, singing in ecstasy. Prabhupada writes a very brilliant purport. Just 4-line purports he writes in this verse. He says, all devotees connected with this Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated. And in bracket he writes, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrit, etc. Otherwise, after some time, they'll just eat, sleep, and fall down from their position, and thus they lose the chance to attain the eternal life in the spiritual world. So therefore, this is a tapasya we have to take. Tapasya of reading every day, hearing every day, chanting our prescribed rounds with full attention as much as possible. That is a tapasya. So the thousands years of tapasya is not possible anyways because we have a limited lifespan. So this tapasya is the only tapasya we have to take. By mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have got this in such a simple way. And if we are not taking advantage of this, then we have no hope. Chaitanya avatare bahe premamrita banya sabajiva preme bhase prithvi hoila dhanya je badnyay jena bhase sai jiva char koti janme kabhutar nahi kanistha. So Mayadevi is telling, Mayadevi came to test Haridas Thakur and ultimately she surrendered and she is saying, please initiate me. By mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I also want to become a devotee. Although she is the greatest of the devotees, out of her humility, she is saying like this. She says, Chaitanya avatare, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken avatar in this world. Prema amrita vanya, the river of love of God is flowing. Sabha jiva preme bhase, the whole living entities are drowning in this. Prithvi hoila dhanya, this whole world has become fortunate. But if somebody does not take advantage of this river of prema, Jivanyaya jena bhase sai jiva char, he is condemned. Koti janme kabhutar nahi kanistar, and he will not get liberated even in hundreds of lifetimes, thousands of lifetimes. So therefore, we have got this wonderful opportunity. Prabhupada is stressing very strongly in the purport how we have to take shelter of this holy names. This is the only tapasya we have to do. If we are not taking this simple tapasya, if you are not taking the simple tapasya of hearing and chanting, then it is very, very difficult proposal. Will not be able to achieve the highest perfection of life. So these prachetas, they did such huge tapasya. They got darshan of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord appeared on the Garuda, as you can see in this slide. He was standing on this Garuda. He was having 8 arms. All the 8 hands were armed with various weapons. His transcendental body was covered with yellow garment, and then he had a kaustubh mala. And although in the underwater it was all darkness, but because Supreme Lord appeared, all the darkness was dispelled. He had a very effulgent helmet, and then he was surrounded by all the sages and the devatas. They were glorifying the beautiful pastimes and the glories of the Supreme Lord. And then Supreme Lord Vishnu glanced on these prachetas and spoke to them. And this is a very beautiful verse which Supreme Lord Vishnu says, Vadam vrinidvam bhadram vo yuyam me nipanandana sauridenartha pratak dharma tushtoham sauridenavaha. He says, Varam vrinidvam bhadram vo. My dear sons of the king, I wish you all good fortune. Varam, all good fortune unto you. Yuyam me nipanandana. You are the sons of great King Prachina Barhi. Please, Varam Vrinidhvam. Varam Vrinidhvam means ask for a benediction. Why I have appeared in front of you? That is a very important thing Lord Vishnu is telling. Why I have appeared in front of you? Sauhardena prithak dharma tushtoham. So this is the essence of how to please the Supreme Lord. In association of devotees, when we are living, how to please the Supreme Lord. Sauhardena apritak dharma. All of you are engaged in one occupational duty, that is the devotional service. You are cooperating among each other. That's why tushtoham sauridena. Sauridain means I am very pleased by your friendly relationships. So Prabhupada writes a very beautiful purport in that. Prabhupada writes that this unity between individual souls is so strong within this material world that even in the society of Krishna consciousness, members appear sometimes disunited because of their different opinions. But he says that actually there is no disunity in Krishna consciousness. In true terms, there is only one goal, that is to serve Krishna to the best of our capacity. If there is some disagreement, that should be taken as spiritual. So we have to understand that when we are coming in groups with one purpose of serving Krishna, there will be clashes. There will be, different opinions. Somebody would say, no, we should do this service in this way. Somebody will say, no, this is better. There will be clashes. But if we cooperate among each other and with one goal of pleasing the Supreme Lord, that is very, very dear to Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada writes, those who are actually engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be disunited in any circumstance. Actually, this is what makes Krishna happy. Actually, we see in the life of Pandavas, all 5 Pandavas were completely different. None of them had, any similar way of working. Yudhishthir Maharaj, always very, very strong and firm on the religious principles. Bhima, very strong, and he would sometimes, say, why are you, speaking all these religious things? Because of this, we have suffered a lot. And then Arjuna had another view, but why Krishna was always with them? Because Krishna was pleased with the cooperation amongst the Pandavas. Even in the forest, although Bhima, sometimes he would chastise Yudhishthir Maharaj, but still he never told, okay, you stay there, you all stay here, I'm going. No. they were always together. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that unity of individual souls when they are attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord, that is actually real unity. So therefore, this is how we can be together in Krishna consciousness movement. Otherwise, there are so many different opinions. There are all chances that we will not having same opinions. That is what is pleasing Krishna. Tushtoham sauride noha. I am very, very pleased by your uh, friendly relationships. The way you cooperate, just like Prabhupada always said, if you want to please me, cooperate amongst each other. You know? So therefore, then Lord Vishnu said, those actually will remember you, they will develop also close relationship amongst each other. You know, just by remembering the prachetas, Lord Vishnu is giving the benediction. Whoever will remember you will also develop close friendship with their brothers and all the living entities. And then he says, those who glorify you, those who glorify, actually those who follow you and they glorify me by reciting this Rudra Gita, they will achieve my benediction. They will attain good intelligence. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, in this verse it is indicated that those who remember the activities of prachetas will be delivered and blessed. So what to speak of sons of Prachina Barhi who are directly connected. So therefore, Krishna Katha and Vaishnava Katha both are equally potent. So if somebody says, no, I'll remember only, I'll hear Krishna Katha, I'll not hear Vaishnava Katha. No, they are both equally potent. Shrutasya pumsam shuchirasramasya nanvanjasa suribhiridito artha tattadgunanu shravanam mukunda padarvindam hridayeshu yesham. It is described, those who endeavor very strongly to hear from the spiritual masters, they should hear from them about the activities of the great devotees of the Lord. Tattad gunanu shravanam mukunda. Why? Padarvinda hridayeshu yesham. Because these devotees of the Lord, they have Krishna in their heart. So therefore, Krishna Katha is equally potent and Vaishnava Katha is equally potent as Krishna Katha. One time, one devotee asked, one Mataji asked Prabhupada, what if at the end of life, if somebody is not able to remember Krishna, and if one remembers you, will it give the same result? Very interesting question she asked. So Prabhupada, he paused for some time, closed his eyes, and then he opened his eyes and said, that's all right. You know, so that is a very amazing statement Prabhupada made. That's all right. So if we remember that devotees of the Lord will achieve the same destination because devotees have lotus feet of the Lord in their heart. Padar Vinda Hridayeshu Esham. That's why Lord Vishnu is saying, those who remember, those who glorify me by reciting this Rudra Gita, in the footsteps of these prachetas, they will attain my benediction, they will attain my darshan, they will have good intelligence. And therefore, Lord Vishnu says, because you are so very submissive, you have accepted with pleasure and you have executed with faith the instructions of your father. You know, so this submissiveness is very, very dear to Krishna. So Lord Vishnu is saying, because you are so very submissive to the instructions of your father and you have executed the orders of your father so nicely, therefore your glories will be celebrated all over the world. So this is a very wonderful quality which Krishna wants everybody of us to have, submissiveness. You know, just like Kaviraj Goswami is saying, oh, I am so old, I'm not able to hear anything, I'm not able to see anything, my hands are trembling, but still I am writing. You know why I am writing? Payayara Agyadan Brajera Vaishnavagan Bandotara Mukhya Haridas Chaitanya Vilas Sindhu Kallo Lera Ekabindu Tarakana Kahe Krishnadas. So he says, because I was given order, Agya Dhan Mila hai mere ko, you know, I've got the wealth of the order, from the Vaishnavas. Prajera Vaishnavajan. All the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan, they gave instruction to Kaviraj Goswami, because Kaviraj Goswami had heard all the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the mouth of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Teho thuila Raghunathera Kanthe. He says, Taha kichu hue shelo, taha iha vistarelu, bhakta gana dilu ei bhete. So because he's saying, I have heard from Swarup Damodar Goswami, and I am giving it as a gift to all the Vaishnavas. So this Kaviraj Goswami is so submissive. So that's why he is such a glorious personality. One of the postgraduate literatures of our Sampradaya, Chaitanya Charitamrita, was written by him. So therefore, Lord Vishnu is very pleased. He says, you will have a very famous son whose progeny will fill the whole world. And then Lord Vishnu says that an Apsara named Pramalocha, previously she united with Kandu Rishi. Kandu Rishi was doing tapasya, and then as general protocol, Indra became disturbed, and he sent this Apsara Pramalocha to disturb this Kandu Rishi. Kandu Rishi fell down and procreated, begot a child in her, and that child was Marisha. So Marisha, and then Pramalocha, she left the child under the care of the trees, and then she went to the heavenly abode. So this child, the trees were not able to take care of the child properly. The child started crying. Moon god became merciful to this child. He came and he poured nectar with his fingers into her mouth. So that's how she lived. So Lord Vishnu said, please marry her and create progeny. So Prajetas may say, how can all of us marry one girl? This is not correct. How is this religious principle? So Lord Vishnu says, because your qualities, all of your qualities and conduct, they are same. Although you are many, but your qualities and conducts, they are same. Therefore, this is my blessing. I give you blessing that you all will marry this one girl, because you are obedient to your father, and this girl will be dedicated to you. So therefore, you both will be of compatible nature. So please marry Marisha. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, a woman actually cannot marry many husbands, although a man can have many wives. In the earlier ages, it was a general thing. But now, Prabhupada writes, in special cases, a girl is allowed to marry many husbands, and the famous example is Draupadi. In Kali Yuga, 5 things are prohibited. Ashwamedam Gavalambam Sanyasam Palapaitrikam Devarena Sutotpattim Kalau Pancha Vivarjayit. Doing cow sacrifice, doing horse sacrifice, then offering amedhya, that is non-vegetarian food, to the ancestors, then sannyas, that is Mayavadi sannyas, and Devarena Sutotpattim, begetting children from the husband's brother. It was possible in earlier ages. That's how Vyasadeva begot children from Ambika and Ambalika. But now it is not allowed. So, Lord Vishnu said, don't worry, you all married to this lady, this Marisha. She has all the good qualities, and therefore you enjoy all the facilities of the world with full bodily strength for 1 million celestial years. So 1 million celestial years, you rule this world, you enjoy this world. Therefore, and then he says, Athamai anapainya bhaktya pakva gunashaya upayasyatha madhyama nirvidya nirayadataha. He says, thereafter, after sufficient enjoyment for 1 million celestial years, you will develop bhaktya pakva bhaktva anapainya. You will develop unadulterated devotional service. Pakva, very mature. Gunashaya, free from all the material contamination. And then upayasyatha, you will come to my abode. Madhyama, you will come to my abode. Nirvidya nirayadyataha, and then nirayad, you will become completely free from the material attachments. which are there in the heavenly planets and in the hellish planets also. Prabhupada writes a very wonderful thing. He says, for a devotee, material enjoyment is like a hell. You know, a devotee is not interested in anything material of this world. It is hellish for them. Only by practice of devotional service this is possible. Mam chaya avya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunana samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Only by the practice of devotional service one can become free from this mundane desires. Krishna pad padma gandha jai jana paye brahma loka adi sukh tare nahi bhai. Whoever gets the taste for devotional service, he never gets attracted to anything material of this world. For him, Brahma Loka Adi Sukh Tara Nahi Bhai. He does not get attracted. It's like Haridas, Raghunath Das Goswami. He had wealth like Indra, wife like Apsara, but still he was not attracted. He was running every day to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know, so that is the result of unalloyed devotional service. So then the Lord told Prachetas to enjoy material pleasures, worldly pleasures, which are equivalent to hell. You know, these material pleasures, they are unfavorable for bhakti. Anya vilashita shunyam. Bhakti should be anya vilashita. But why is Lord telling Prachetas to enjoy material pleasures? Because the devotees, they are not entangled even if they enjoy. Griheshu avishtatam chapi pumsam kushal karmanam madvartayat yamanam na bandhaya grihamata. He says, Griheshu avishtatam. Although a devotee is staying in the family life, pumsam kushal karmanam. He engages in all the auspicious activities. That means the activities of sense gratification. Material, mundane, karmakand activities, they are auspicious activities according to the scriptures. But madvarta yat yamanam. But because he is engaged in discussion of my katha, what is the result? Na bandhaya grihamata. He does not get bound in the family life. That is how a householder should mold his life in such a way that he is able to remember Krishna all the day. There's a verse which says that pratah dyuta prasangena madhyan stri prasangat ratrau chauro prasangena kalo gacchati dhimatam. It is said that a sober person should spend his life in this way. How? Morning you should hear about, gambling match. In the afternoon you should hear about women. In the evening you should hear about thieves. So क्या हो गया प्रभु जी, कौन सा भागवतम पढ़ के आए? Which scripture you are reading now? सब ठीक है ना? Actually there is an inner meaning to it. Pratah dyut prasangena. Where in the scriptures the gambling match is described, that is Mahabharata. Mahabharata tells us how to live in this world. All this dharma, artha, kam is described, moksha. And then in the Ramayana, the story begins with a lady Manthara. She incited Kaikai, and then in between Shurpanaka came, and then at the end Mother Sita went into earth. So there, in the beginning, middle, and all topics of women are going on. And who is the famous chore? Makan chore. So in the night we should hear about Krishna. So that's how a devotee should spend his life, mold his life in such a way that we may be able to remember Krishna always. That is Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Lord Vishnu told Prachetas that you should enjoy the earth. That is my mercy. And other types of enjoyment of the world generally restrict bhakti. But the enjoyment ordered by me actually increases bhakti. That is an amazing thing, If Krishna is telling somebody to enjoy, that will increase bhakti. He will not be bound. Just like Prabhupada would say, if Krishna is telling you somebody to live under a tree, and if he is attached to living in the palace, that is a Maya. And if Krishna is desiring that he should live in a palace, and if the devotees want attached to living under a tree, that is also Maya. So Chakravarti Thakur is writing that Lord says that if somebody enjoys because of ordered by me, that increases bhakti. Thus, it should be understood that this is the enjoyment arising from my mercy, and that will not cause bondage. Then he says, actually, my mercy, Krishna is saying, my mercy towards persons who still have material desires, how I give mercy to them. Yasyaham anugrahinami harishye tad dhanam shanaihi tato adhanam tajantasya swajana dukkha dukkhita. He says, if I show special mercy to some devotee, I take away everything from him. And then that person has nowhere to go because he is given up by all the family relatives. One person came to Prabhupada and says, Swamiji, please, show me. He was extending his hand. Please, can you tell what is in future? What is my future? And then Prabhupada said, oh, he looked his hand and oh, बहुत गड़बड़ है. क्या हो गया स्वामी जी? बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. So he said, क्या हो गया स्वामी? जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि इतना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम. क्या करें? Chant Hare Krishna. And then he said, Swamiji, I want your special mercy. Prabhupada said, if there was one brahmachari who was standing there next by, so he says, if I give you special mercy, you'll become like him. You want? He said, no, Swamiji, I'm happy. Thank you very much. So therefore, Krishna is saying, if I show special mercy to a devotee who still has material desires, I take away everything from him. So a devotee, if he is told to use everything in Krishna's service, and if he is attached to a renounced order of life, that is an illusion. That is not a yukta vairagya. Yukta vairagya means one should learn how to dovetail everything in service of the Lord. Because everything is connected to Krishna. That is the real purpose of life. That is the secret of success, So therefore, then Lord Vishnu, he describes the qualities of the devotees. He says, devotees, they have 4 qualities. They are ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. They are always happy. All their activities, they give them all the joy. Krishna is all new, always increasing in pleasure. So when we serve Krishna, our pleasure also keeps on increasing. They are na muhyanti, they are never bewildered. They are na shochanti, na rishyanti. They do not lament and they do not become unnecessarily jubilant. After this, when Lord Vishnu gave all these benedictions, he spoke in such a way. Then prachetas, they begin offering beautiful prayers. He says, Namo Namah Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupitodar Gunavaya Manovacho Vega Puro Javaya Sarvaksha Margair Adatadvane Namaha. So he says, Namo Namah Klesha Vinashanaya. Oh my Lord, you relieve one of all the distress. Nirupito dar gunah vayaya. You are all auspicious. Your qualities are all auspicious. And then, mano, vacho, veg, puro, javaya. You are faster than the mind and the words. And therefore, you cannot be perceived by the senses. And then he says, they say that you are supremely pure, you are peaceful, you are fixed in your swarupa, and therefore sometimes you appear as Brahma, sometimes you appear as Shiva and Vishnu for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. And then they say that, oh my Lord, you have further 4 very beautiful qualities, 5 qualities they say. They say that you are Vishuddha Sattva, you are existing completely independent from all the material qualities. You take away the misery of the devotees. Thirdly, you are working very, very fast to deliver your devotees, So that's how Lord is called Hari Medhase. Hari Medhase means whose brain works only to deliver the conditioned soul. That is the purpose of the Lord. Lord is always thinking, how should I deliver this devotee? His devotee is so very fallen. Isko kaise nikalu yahan se? That is the only thought process of the Lord which is going on. Maharaurava karite, Maharaurav haite korila tomar uddhar, kripara samudra Krishna gambhir apar. So, gambhir apar, kripara samudra Krishna. Lord is Gambhir and Apar. He is working so very hard. He is working very gravely to protect his devotees. And therefore, they say that you are increasing the influence of your devotees. And then they say, very beautiful verse again, they say that Namo Kamala Nabhaya, Namah Kamala Maline, Namah Kamala Padaya, Namaste Kamalekshana. Similar verse as Kunti Maharani prays, Nama Pankajana Bhaya, Nama Pankajamaline, Nama Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraya. Offer obeisances to all the bodily parts. Actually, all the bodily parts of Krishna, they are compared to lotus. There are 8 parts of Krishna which are compared to lotus. What are these 8 parts? These are Kari Yuga Charan and Netra Nabhi Vadan Kari Yuga Charan Ei Ashta Padma Krishna Ange Karpura Lipta Kamala Tara Oiche Parimala Ei Gandha Ashta Padma Ange. Netra, 2 eyes, Nabhi, Vadan, face, then Kari Yuga, 2 hands, and then Charan. These are the 8 parts. These are the 8 bodily parts of Krishna which are compared to lotus. And there is a beautiful fragrance which comes from the bodily parts of Krishna. What is that fragrance? Karpur Lipta Kamala. If you mix the flavor of lotus with the camphor. So that is what they are saying, And then they say that you are all pervasive. You are witnessing everything in this world. Your mercy is manifesting in the form of deliverance of all the conditioned souls, So therefore, you are the one who relieves one of all the miseries. There is another verse which says, Ashesha Shankle Shishamam Vidatte Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare Kim Va Punastat Charanaраvinda Padaravinda Hridayeshu Yesham. Ashesha Shankle Shishamam Gunanuvada. If somebody is chanting the glories of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord, unlimited miseries are destroyed. What to speak of Kimva Punastat Charanaраvinda? If somebody has got the taste of the devotional service. Padaravinda Hridayeshu. If somebody focuses his heart on the lotus feet of the Lord, what to speak of these devotees, And then they say, oh my Lord, you are manifesting in this world as a Archa Vigraha to show mercy to all the fallen conditioned soul. You accept simple things, Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Prabhupada writes, Lord, when it appears as a deity form, he is satisfied with simple things of the world. And therefore, they say that as super soul, you know the desires of all of them and you fulfill them even without asking. So Lord says, no. Okay, you are saying that as super soul, I know all that, but still you should say what do you want. So they are saying that you are super soul, you know all the desires, you fulfill all the desires of the living entities. Lord says, no. Chakravarti Thakur says that. Lord says, no. You should say in words, words में बोलो क्या चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं आप तो सब जानते हैं, आप तो सबकी इच्छा पूरी करते हैं. Lord says, no. Say in words what do you want. So therefore, then Prachetas, they say, your satisfaction is the only benediction we want. With our devotional service, we just want to satisfy you. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, when Narsimhadev asked him, please ask for benediction. He said, oh my Lord, I did not do bhakti to do a business with you. I'm not a vanik. He became angry. Prahlad Maharaj became angry. 5 years old boy became angry on Narsimhadev. And he says, I did not do bhakti to do business for you. I don't want anything. I want to just please you. So Prachetas, they are saying, we only want your satisfaction. And therefore, we want other benediction, that because you are the unlimited, you are the supreme. So therefore, please give us unlimited benediction. What is that unlimited benediction? Your name, form, qualities, they are all unlimited. Please give us the benediction so that we may always be able to remember your name, form, and pastimes of so that we will also get liberated. So after hearing this, Lord Vishnu may say, okay, you want unlimited benediction? Okay, no problem. You ask how many boons you want. You ask. They say, what further benediction we may ask? They say very beautiful verse. Parijate anjasa labdhe sarango anyanna sevate tadangri moolam asadya sakshat kim vranimahi. So they say that just like a honeybee, after gets the parijata tree, the honeybee does not have to go anywhere. All his desires are fulfilled. Similarly, twadangri moolam asadya, we have got your lotus feet, O my Lord. Sakshat kim vranimahi. What else do we want? We don't want anything, So that is the prayer which all these prachetas they make, and then after that they request for benediction. They say, Namo Namah Klesha Vinashanaya. Sorry, there is some different thing. Sorry, this is some problem with the slide. This is another thing. So they say that they request for benedictions, and they say that, oh my Lord, please give us association of your devotees. Give us benediction so that we may always be able to hear your pastimes in association of your devotees. Yavat te maya sprishta brahmama iha karma bihi tavat bhavat prasanganam sangasyanno bhave. He says, yavat te maya sprishta. As long as we are wandering in this world, we are there in this world because of our actions, iha karma bhi, please, we want one thing. Tavat bhavat prasangana. We want association of your devotees, and in that association we want to hear about your pastimes. If throughout the Bhagavatam we are seeing all the devotees, what do they want? Bhagwan samne khade hain, what are they asking for? They are asking for association of devotees. And we have association of devotees and we think zyada ho raha hai. Too much of association, because we are not realizing that this is the only treasure, this is the only way of happiness and satisfaction, because devotees, they are satisfied only when they hear Hari Katha. Otherwise, all the other things does not give happiness to devotees. And where they'll find Hari Katha? In association of devotees. Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshua yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tishtami narada. Krishna is saying, O Narada, I do not reside in the heart of devotees. I do not reside in the place, in the Vaikuntha. I reside only at that place where my devotees, they come together and sing about my glories. So the Lord may say, but you said that you are contaminated by Maya and then you conquer Maya, and to conquer the Maya, you pray for devotee association. Okay, that was your goal, na? If you want to be free from material energy, you want devotee association. That means you want liberation. So better ask for liberation. Why are you asking for devotee association? They say, no, my Lord, devotee association is the highest. Tulayam lavenapi naswargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutash. This verse comes 3 times in Bhagavatam. That shows how strongly this verse is emphasized. 3 times the same verse comes. First time it came in the first canto, 18th chapter, 13th verse. Their same verse, Parikshit Maharaj is telling to Shukdev Goswami, Tulayam lavenapi naswargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashisha. Even a moment's association of a pure devotee cannot be compared to being transferred to heavenly planets. What to speak of all the material benedictions of this world? And it is not compared with even Brahman effulgence. Again, it comes in the 4th canto, 24th chapter. Same verse, though just one word is different. Shanardena pitulye naswargamna punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashisha. There, tulayam lavenapi was the word, and then in the 4th canto verse, shanardenapi. So therefore it shows this association of devotees is so very, very important. All the devotees of the Lord, they are asking for this only. Parikshit Maharaj, he asked, please give me association of devotees. Dhruv Maharaj says, I want association. Prahlad Maharaj says, I want association. And we are thinking Zada association, or now devotees, because we are not getting association of devotees. So that's now we are realizing, oh my God, my devotional service is dependent on association of devotees only. And then they say, this Krishna Katha has 4 effects. Whoever hears and becomes absorbed in Krishna Katha, he does not have to hanker for anything. He does not envy, he does not fear anyone, and for him, Narayan is present everywhere. Your devotees, they say, your devotees wander and sanctify all the places. Therefore, they please those who are afraid of material existence. Tesham vicharataam padbhyam tirthanam pavanechaya vitasya kim na rocheta tavakanam samagamah. Tesham vicharatam, the devotees of you, O my Lord, they wander all over the world. Why? Tirthanam pavanechaya, they purify the places of pilgrimage. So, and this theme is also very common and consistent theme, how devotees, they purify the holy places. Just like Yudhishthir Maharaj, he also told Vidura, Bhavad Vidha Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabhrita. You are the place, you purify the places of pilgrimage, Then they say, oh my Lord, by a moment association of Lord Shiva, we got your darshan. And you are such an expert physician, you are capable of treating the disease of this material existence. This is the disease of bhava roga. What is the bhava aushadhi? Only bhava aushadhi is hearing Harikatha. Kaviraj Goswami describes about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vaigunya Keet Kalitam Paishunya Vrana Piritam Dainyarnavam Nimagnoham Chaitanyam Vaidyamashray. He says, Vaigunya Keet Kalitam. I am completely overcome. All over my body, there are boils of envy. Paishunya Vrana Piritam. And I am suffering because of that. I am drowning in this ocean of material existence. Only by the mercy of a Vaidya who can cure these boils on my body, and that is Chaitanya Vaidya Ashray. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore they are saying, oh my Lord, by your moment, by association of Lord Shiva, just for a moment we got your darshan. So we do not know the process of pleasing you. Whatever we have, we are offering to you. We are offering our Vedic studies, we are offering our austerities, and you told that we are non-envious, we are offering our non-enviousness also to you. Everything is offered for your satisfaction, O my Lord. And therefore they say that great yogis, the great sadhus, they cannot understand you. Similar, then how can we understand? So therefore, we are offering our prayers according to our capacity. So a devotee should always offer prayers, should always preach this message according to our capacity. Nobody can say, I cannot preach, I cannot spread this knowledge. No, everybody has to preach this message. That is our service to our Guru Parampara. That is a debt we have to pay. Whatever we have got, we have to tell this knowledge to others. If we are not giving whatever we are receiving, then we are kripana. A well in which the water is just stored and not taken out, the well water starts stinking. Maitreya Muni says, Tathapi kirtayam yanga yatha mati yatha shrutam kirtir harer swam satkartum giram anya abhidha satim. He says, O Vidura, I am not a pure devotee. I do not know the qualities of the Lord. Lord has unlimited qualities, but still I'll glorify. Why? According to my capacity, I'll glorify. Because if I don't glorify, my tongue will become unchaste. It will become a prostitute. Kirtir Harer Swam Sat Kartum Giram Anya Abhidha Asati, my tongue will become unchaste. So therefore, this Prachitas are saying, we are glorifying God according to our capacity. Who can glorify you? Even Anant Shesh cannot glorify you. You know, one can count the quality sun rays, dust particles on the earth, snow particles on the polar regions, but they cannot count the qualities of the Lord. But still, we have to do our endeavor, whatever we can. Therefore, they say, "Oh my Lord, you have unlimited qualities. You are equal to everyone. You are never contaminated. You are that supreme transcendental person. You are always situated in this transcendental position." So saying this, Lord departed, and Lord offered all the benedictions, and he departed. And this Prachetas, when as the Lord was leaving, they could not, stop seeing, because they were still not satisfied seeing the Lord. But still, Lord departed. So Prachetas, they came out of the ocean. As they came out of the ocean, they saw, because Prachina Barhi had already left. So the whole world was covered with huge trees. The tree, as if it was looking as if the trees are covering the path of liberation. These Prachetas, they became very angry. They were so very powerful that they started burning all the trees from their eyes, from their mouth. The fire and the air started coming out. They started emanating fire and air from their mouths, started burning all the trees. Then Brahmaji came, and Brahmaji told them, please don't burn these trees, and trees, out of fear, they gave their daughter Marisha to get married to Prachetas. So Prachetas, they got married to this Marisha, and then he begot Daksha from all of these Prachetas. They begot Daksha from this Marisha, and this Daksha, he created all the living entities in the Chakshusha Manvantar. He is the same Daksha who was burnt and who was killed by Lord Shiva's companion, that is Veerabhadra, and he got a goat head, and then after that he left his body. That same Daksha became again Daksha in the Chakshusha Manvantar. And that is how this chapter ended. And the last chapter of this fourth canto, the chapter is entitled The Narada Instructs the Prachetas. So in this chapter, this Prachetas, after ruling for many thousands of years, ultimately they renounced their home, and they along with the Marisha, they left Marisha in the care of Daksha, because Daksha was still his son living. So Marisha was left in the care of Daksha, and all these Prachetas, they left to do tapasya and make their life perfect. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that giving a comfortable home is absolutely necessary for a human being after certain age, in the certain duration of life. So these Prachetas, they went to the seashore, and they met the sage Jajali, and then from him they learned more of the transcendental knowledge. They became very equipoised in their vision. They became perfect in the Krishna consciousness. Just like Bhagavad Gita says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. So as they were very equipoised, Narad Muni arrived at that place. And Narad Muni, when they saw Narad Muni has come, he was worshipped by, Narad Muni was such a great personality, he was worshipped by all the Devatas and the Asuras together. Sura Asura Idya. So Prachetas, they offered respects, they made him sit, and then they inquired from him. They said, "O Narad Muni, it is our good fortune that we have got a chance to have your darshan. Your movements are like the movement of the sun. Just like the sun removes the darkness, please, you remove the darkness from our heart." They say, because we are so very attached in the family life, we have actually almost forgotten the instructions of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Please enlighten us again in the transcendental knowledge. This transcendental knowledge will act as a torchlight to dispel the darkness of nescience which is there in the heart. So Narad Muni, when he was requested so, he began to reply. So Narad Muni said, first of all, he glorified the devotional service. He said that devotional service is the goal of all the spiritual practices. So he says, Tajjanmatani karmani tadayustad manovachah nrinam yena hi vishwaatma sevyate haririshwarah. So he says that for a human, his janma, his birth, his activities, karmani, his ayu, his lifespan, mana, his mind, and vacha, his words. The perfection of all these things are when they are used in devotional service, when they are used to glorify the Lord, when one uses one's birth, activities, everything in serving the Supreme Lord. That is a success. That is a success of the Varnashram system. Kayena vacha. This is a famous verse which is sung at the end of Ganapati Aarti. But if you actually know the meaning of this verse, those who sing in the Ganapati Aarti, but this verse actually gives the essence of the scriptures. Kayena vacha manasa indriyerva buddhyatmana va nusita swabhava karoti yad sakalam parasmai narayanateti samarpayet. Kayena vacha manasa indriyerva. With my body, mind, words, and senses. And buddhya atmana, with the intelligence and soul. What I'll do? Karoti yad, whatever I am doing, Narayana tyeti samarpayet, offer to Lord Narayan. So then they say without bhakti, actually all these following things, they are useless. Kim janmabhistribhirveha shaukra savitra yagyika karmabhirvatrai proktai pumsopi vibudhayusha. So they say without bhakti, the three types of civilized birth. What is that? Shaukra, seminal birth by semen. Then Savitra, by sacred thread ceremony. And Yagyika, and initiation into the performance of Vedic sacrifices. These are the three births of a living entity. And Karmabhi, the various activities, Vedic activities which one performs. And even if somebody has a long human life, what is the use if somebody is not able to perform bhakti? Shrutena tapasa vakyam vachobhischitta vrittibhi buddhya vakyam nipunaya balendriya radhasa. He says, Shrutena. If somebody with his Vedic education, with his tapasya, with his power of speech, vachobhi, chitta vrittibhi, with his mental speculation, with his intelligence, with his bodily strength and sensual power, if somebody is not worshipping Krishna, then it is of no use. Without bhakti, all these things are useless. So bhakti is the end result of whatever we do in our life. So therefore, and then he says that actually without God realization, all the mystic yogas practices, analytical study of matter, acceptance of sannyas, Vedic studies, and all the auspicious acts, they are of no use. They are all useless. Therefore, they say this Lord is the source of the self-realization, and we have to serve the Lord, because Lord is the supreme source of everything. This is a very, very famous verse. All of us must have heard the translation hundreds of times. What is that? When you water the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. This is the verse. Yatha tarormula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashakha pranopahara cha tathendriyanam tathaiva sarva haranamachyutejya. Yatha tarormul, just like if somebody wants to water a tree, he'll put water on the root of the tree. If somebody waters the root of the tree, tripyanti tatskandha bhuja upashakha, trunks, branches, twigs, and everything gets satisfied. Similarly, pranopahara cha tathendriyanam, similarly, if somebody wants to feed of somebody, he'll put food in the stomach. By feeding food, putting food in the stomach, all the body gets nourished. Tathaiva sarvar arahanam achyutejya. By worshipping the Lord, everybody is satisfied. All the devatas, they are satisfied. So therefore, Supreme Lord is the only worshipable object. It's the only person worth to be worshipped. Just like water is generated from the sun in the monsoon and evaporated by the sun in summer, living entities, they are generated from the earth and return to the earth as dust. Similarly, everything is generated from and returned to the Lord, they say. And therefore they say Lord is the supreme cause of everything. And they give two analogies. Just like sunshine emanates from the sun and is non-different from the sun. Similarly, universe emanates from the Lord and is non-different from the Lord. Second analogy they give, that the senses, they appear as a body part. It seems that in the awake condition, they are a part of a body, but in the sleep we don't understand and recognize that we have our senses. Similarly, the universe, sometimes you come manifested, sometimes you come unmanifest. So therefore, Supreme Lord is the cause of everything. He is the one from whom all the modes appear. So therefore, there is only one service of all the living entities, that is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Only by engaging in service of the Supreme Lord one gets liberated. One who serves the Lord in this mood, dayaya sarva bhuteshu santushtyayena kenava sarvendriyopashantya va tushyatyashu janardanaha. Dayaya sarva bhutesu. By showing mercy to all living beings, santushtya, somehow or other, be satisfied. Sarvendriya upashantya, controlling the senses from sense enjoyment in this way. Tushyati ashu janardana. Very soon one can satisfy the Lord. That is the goal of the life, You have to please the Lord, satisfy the Lord. How Lord will be satisfied? In these three ways. Showing mercy to everyone, then being satisfied, and then controlling the senses. So devotees, they are satisfied in all the conditions. Prabhupada quotes this verse from 8th canto, when Chitraketu Maharaj was was cursed by Parvati. So Chitraketu Maharaj was completely equipoised. Lord Shiva tells Parvati, Narayan para sarve nakutaschana vibhyati swarga apavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshina. Devotees of the Lord, they are always satisfied in any condition they may be. You put them in heaven, you put them in hell, they will do the same thing. They will preach, they'll preach Krishna Katha. One time Prabhupada went to London, and then reporters, they were asking, so Swamiji, what is your conception of hell? Prabhupada said, what do you think London is? There is no sun here. It is all dark. Next day, headlines were there. Swami calls London as hell. So Prabhupada was not so much concerned by all these things. He was only focused on serving and preaching this message of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, then all these prachetas, this Narada is telling to prachetas that the devotees of the Lord, they are cleansed of all the material desires and they are free from all the material contamination. They are only engaged in one thing, always in addressing the Lord with all feelings. Ainanda tanaja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Prabhupada quotes this Shikshashtakam verse. The devotees, they are always eager to call the Lord with all their hearts. Oh Lord, please take me out of this material existence. And then he says, what is the quality of the Supreme Lord? Supreme Lord is controlled by his devotees, is Nij Jana Vasha. He comes in control of his devotees. And secondly, he never leaves them. These are the two wonderful qualities. That is our hope. Lord never leaves the devotees and he always comes in control of his devotees. In 10th canto, it is described in Damodar Lila. Darshayam stadvidam loka atmano vrityavashyatam prajasyo vahavai harsham bhagavan balacheshtitam. Atmano vrityavashyatam. So Lord manifested this Damodar Lila for one purpose, to show to the world that how I come in control of my devotees. All the devotees of the Lord, because they are so very surrendered to the will of the Lord, just like Pandavas, they were ready to do anything. They were completely malleable to the will of the Lord. That's why Lord was also so very malleable to the will of the Pandavas. Whatever Pandavas would say, Krishna would do. Krishna was doing everything for the Pandavas. Saratya parashada sevana sakhya dautya virasana nugamana stavana pranaman snigdeshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha vishnu bhaktim karoti nripatis charanara vinde. He was becoming his chariot driver of Arjuna. He was their constant companion, serving them, becoming messenger for them. He was protecting them. Why? Snigdeshu. They were malleable to the will of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna was malleable to the will of the Pandavas. That is the quality of Krishna. He is controlled by his devotees. He never leaves his devotees. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. And then he says, Narad Muni says that Lord, how he reciprocates with his devotees, he relishes the activities of his devotees, because devotees, they do not have any material position. They may have material possession, but they do not have possessiveness. Akinchana vittaya. You are the property of those who are materially impoverished. That means those who do not have holding mentality. This is for me and this is for Krishna. Whatever they have, they are using is in Krishna's service. And secondly, he says, Krishna does not accept the worship of non-devotees because they are so very puffed up by their material education, wealth, aristocracy, and fruitive activity. Shruta, Dhan, Kul, Karmanam, Madai. They are completely mad and intoxicated by these four things. As Kunti Maharani also says, Janma Ishware Shruta Shribhir Vedamana Madappaman Naivar Hatya Vidhatum Vai Twama Kinchana Gochara. So these four things make one mad. So therefore, Narad Muni says that when these non-devotees, they deride devotees, Lord never forgives them. Because Lord is always ready to protect his devotees. Just like devotees are possessive about Lord, Lord is possessive about his devotees. So therefore, Lord becomes dependent on his devotees. He is Nij, Bhritya, Varga, Tantraha. That's why Krishna does not give devotional service so easily. Krishna yadi chute bhakte bhukti mukti diya kabo Krishna prema na den rakhe na lukaiya. He may give bhukti, he may give mukti. Kya chahiye? You want sense gratification? Take it. You want liberation? Take it. I will not give bhakti so easily. Why? Because the devotees they control Krishna by their bhakti. So therefore, Krishna does not give bhakti so easily. So that's why Narad Muni is saying, Lord becomes dependent on devotees. Krishna, as a small child, he was completely under the control of the gopis. The gopis, they would say, "Oh Krishna, if you dance, I'll give you this butter. If you dance, I'll give you this laddu." Gopi bhisto bhito nrityat bhagavan balavat kachit udgayati kochin mugdas tadvasho daru yantravat. Sometimes he would dance, sometimes he would sing. He was like a doll in the hands of gopis. Supreme Lord becoming an instrument in the hands of gopis. Why? That is the quality of Krishna. He is controlled by his devotees. So therefore, Narad Muni is saying, who is that grateful person who will not take to worship of such a Supreme Lord? So now, after giving all these instructions, Narad Muni, he went to Siddhaloka, and then Prachetas, they followed the instructions of Narad Muni, and then they meditated and became free from all the material contaminations, became completely attached to the Lord, and in this way they attained the supreme destination. So in this way, Maitreya Muni says to Vidura, thus I have concluded this conversation of Narada and Prachetas describing the glories of the Lord. So then after this, the camera again shifts to Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. If we remember, third canto, how it began. Second canto ended with Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami telling Parikshit Maharaj, I am going to tell you about Padma Kalpa, but that was the conversation going on between the sages of Naimisharanya and Suta Goswami. So sages asked, wait, don't tell us about that conversation. Please tell us about, Vidura going to pilgrimage and meeting Maitreya. Udhar kya hua? Maitreya or Vidur ka samvad bataiye. Then the whole third and fourth canto went in Maitreya Vidur samvad. So now again camera is shifting to Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So therefore now Shukadeva Goswami is telling to Parikshit. So I have described the dynasty of Uttanapad, the son of Swayambhuva Manu. Now, please hear very attentively. I am going to describe the dynasty of Priyavrat Maharaj. He says in one verse, he completes the whole. He says, Priyavrat, he attained this spiritual knowledge from Narad Muni, received that knowledge, yet he still was engaged in ruling the earth. But after enjoying material possessions for a long time, he divided his property amongst his sons, and he also attained the abode of the Lord. So then again, the camera shifts to Vidura Maitreya Samvad. So Vidura tells to Maitreya. So Vidura has ecstatic tears in his eyes when he heard all this beautiful conversation. Vidura, he was in ecstasy. He fell at the feet of Maitreya Muni, and his heart was completely full of pastimes of the Lord. His heart, Supreme Lord was fixed in his heart. He was very grateful to the Lord. He thanked Maitreya that, O Maitreya Muni, by your causeless mercy, you have shown me the path of liberation. And by following this path, one can go back to Godhead. So therefore, after taking permission of Maitreya Muni, he returned to Hastinapur to see his relatives. Which relative? First canto, 13th chapter. To meet Dhritarashtra, not for staying in Hastinapur. And the last verse of this fourth canto describes the Falashruti. The Falashruti says, Etadya Shrunyad Rajan Ragyam Hari Arpitatmanam Ayur Dhanam Yashaswasti Gatim Aishwaryam Apnuyat. So now Shukadeva Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj, O king, those who hear the topics about these kings who are completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality, they obtain without difficulty a long life, wealth, good reputation, fame, fortune, and ultimately they attain the opportunity to return home back to Godhead. So this is the end of the fourth canto. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So there are a few questions which are there. Okay, the question is, I just spoke that verse, Pratah Dyut Prasangena, Madhyanstri Prasangat, Ratrau Chaura Prasangena, Kalo Gachite Dhimtam. So this verse is recommending how we should read Mahabharat in the morning, but Mahabharat mentions Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Bhagavatam rejects Dharma. So how to understand this? Is it for those who are newly introduced to Bhakti? Actually, we should always understand till the time we are not transcending, we are not pure devotees, we have to continue to follow the dharmic principles. This Varnashram system, we cannot give up that system because we are not pure. Bhagavatam is meant for pure. Bhagavatam rejects all the religions, but we are not pure. Till the time we are not pure, we have to continue follow all the dharmic principles. We cannot reject. There is one verse which says in the 11th canto, Krishna is telling to Uddhava, till the time one becomes completely pure, one cannot reject the varnashram system. It will create a havoc. So therefore, yes, by practicing Bhagavatam, we will become free from contaminations, but we cannot prematurely reject all these varnashram systems, varnashram duties. So we have to continue follow. We have to understand how to live in this world. So but our main focus should be loving devotional service. That is Pancham Purushartha. But day-to-day activities we have to do. We have to take care of the family. We have to take care of our job. For that, all this varnashram system is required. That is the understanding. Devotees like Prahlad Maharaj are the eternal souls who are just acting as devotees to teach us. Otherwise, how just, yes. In one of the verses in Bhagavatam, it is described, Prahlad Maharaj is telling to his batchmates, I'm not sure. He's saying that Lord sent me here to establish these principles of religion. They are liberated souls. They came just to show us this process of Krishna consciousness. We have many examples where devotees leave their homes and perfect their lives. What happens to the ladies who are at the homes? So they are taken care by the sons. That's how a woman is always protected. When they are child, they are protected by father. Young, they are protected by husband. When they are elderly, they are protected by their sons. And just by the following the principles, they also perfect their lives. Just by following the principles of dharma, chastity, they also become liberated. Why Falashruti gives all material things? Why not love of God straight? Because we are not pure. Because we are hearing Bhagavatam, we know all this. That's why we can understand. Okay, but this Falashruti, this is not so much of attraction for a devotee, because devotees, they are not interested in things of this world. All this long life, good wealth, reputation, fortune. This is for those people who are not attracted to the process of bhakti. At least, somehow, yena kena prakaren mana Krishna niveshe. Somehow or other, bring them to Krishna. That is the purpose of life. That is the purpose of this Falashruti. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.